Hi, and welcome to DDLive.
Tutty, baby.
Let's fucking go!
Try all you want. It doesn't fucking matter. I'm number one for a fucking reason.
Mikey, you killed it with that video. That intro video, it's arguably the best one that we've had up to now. And it kind of highlights and encompasses exactly what this show is all about. The players, the highlights, and that's what you're here for. But before getting into the show, my two co-hosts with me, Jose Perraguerra and the one and only Mikey, the Stifler, Sabina. So without further ado, we're going to talk about you guys, and that's all we want to. There's a lot to get to. There's trades, there's rumors, there's projections. There might be an MVP list, some suggestions, and we got to look forward to this week. We got a jam-packed show for you guys, and there's a lot of bones to pick. There's a lot of things going on this week. But without that, couldn't be possible without week 2. So let's get going with those reviews. Mikey, where are we starting?
All right, games of the week, week 2. Let's start with the easiest one. Straightforward. 49ers, San Diego Chargers. Roll the tape. Not much to see there.
Bro, that was pretty bad, bro.
Ooh.
Get big, little boy. Where are you going?
Eddie with the snap. Kevin with the rush. Avoids the rush.
Run, of course. Once you know he's rolling out, it's a bomb. See you later. One more time if you didn't get the point, Jordan. Wait. You still didn't get the point, Jordan? Toma!
Let me go to sleep.
Oh, man. That was bad. And that kind of tells us what happened with San Diego and the 49ers, huh? What was the final score?
That's more than enough. Doesn't matter.
Nothing else to talk about there. Moving on.
Ian. I think that was just Ian.
We can go talk about. Let's talk about the Ravens and Finns. I know. Pefa had the Ravens winning, so I'll let him have some things to say about this one.
Ravens and Finns.
What happened?
I did. I mean, listen, I wasn't. I didn't get to watch the game, unfortunately. I got to hear the commotion afterwards and how Mikey apparently almost got jumped by a few guys. And I did see Kenny following Mikey all the way pretty much.
Come over here.
Halfway to the tent. But I did hear Munchie got hurt after scoring, I think, in their first drive. And then obviously if Munchie goes down.
It was a sick run. But he got a Charlie horse to the quad. He had a knot this big on his quad.
Anytime your captain goes down, it's hard to come back from that, and it is what it is. I mean, I think what I said still played out because I said the defense would probably win in the game, and they held you guys still to 3 points. No, I think
still without Munchie.
So that does say that my prediction in terms of their defense was definitely going to show up, but I think we knew that going into the game, and that was just the overview on the Ravens. Their defense was always going to be there.
Ernie rushed phenomenally. Jeremy got a pick, but when you Iron Man, Jeremy started like throwing up, and Munchie's out. They lost their leadership. They imploded, and then you get the rest. But I
kind of feel that. I was watching this game closely, and Ernie, as you said, Mikey, played an exceptional. He even got a safety that put the Ravens on top of the Dolphins. I actually thought that the Ravens were actually going to mount the comeback. They actually had Ernie was giving pressure to David. I believe he had 2 sacks that game, and one of them was for a safety. So the defense was the play early on in the game. They had some success with Monchi and Pablo with the handoff game. Jeremy going out with the screams. But I felt that the moment that Monchi went down, instead of Jeremy and Pablo playing that, it kind of, there was no leadership. And you kind of saw that after the match where they were fighting in the tent. There was no consensus. There was a
lot of changes in Ravens camp.
Absolutely, there was a lot of changes because the way that ended, you kind of felt like I was just there, and I was like just looking left and right. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna walk out of this tent, and I'm not gonna talk to nobody.
Yeah, it was like, who's going first?
No, this is not the moment. This is not the moment to me of all people to be the pacifist. So I just walked away to another tent. It was pretty bad. There was a lot of potential there. I really thought that Monchi, Pablo, and Ernie, especially the fact that they're so sound defensively, that they would be able to at least win a couple drives, and with the handoff game they could score, maybe make some noise, maybe a trade or two. But obviously sort of the issue when there isn't a alpha or a, one voice in a team and you got too many people taking it in separate directions. And, kind of what happened with the Ravens. They took a couple L's and the team imploded, and we'll talk about what happened after the fact, which very interesting, but solid game. Good to watch, but ultimately David's a winner and edged it out for the Fins. We have our very own Jose Pereguera versus Andy. There was a lot of plots in this story, whether if you G's, the roads, healthcare. I'm telling you, there was a lot of narratives to this game, and the fact that our very own host here self-proclaimed that he would never lose to, what is it again, Pedro? What's the famous? I will never lose to a team with what?
Well, 2 tier 5s. They don't have 2 tier 5s.
Right.
But I said if I ever get a 2-0 lead, I'm not losing that game.
Exactly. Well, let's roll.
Get a 3-0 lead.
It was a 3-0 lead, and you guys coughed it up to make it 3-3. But
at the end of the day, who got the W?
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that, and we're gonna talk about what happened after the fact, because I feel like we're talking about highlights, and then we're talking about what happened after the highlights. But let's roll the tape.
I mean, I got ball first, I think, and I scored first drive. Yeah, I mean, I scored the first 3 drives, but I mean, this was to tie it up, I think, right? 3-3.
Yeah, that made it 3-3, and you could see the emotion in Andy. Andy wanted this game.
Yeah, I was
That's a famous intro right there.
Yeah. And unfortunately, this is how the ball game ended for the Cowboys.
Who's covering AJ here?
Mark.
Mark.
I think Mark. Right? Yeah, Mark. Yeah, because they messed up their substitution. I feel like a lot of teams are doing that against us. And I mean, we ended up with our captain against their tier 2. I think is still a pretty fair.
Cowboys have such like they have such a short ball game. All they do is pitch and hand off. Bro. They just chop. Mark should have caught that. I think if Mark, it was in that game if he catches that.
I think that was
No, they would have tied it 3-3 earlier in the game. So then Andy's pass at the end would have been for the victory. And that's sort of what the issue was with this game. What you saw with the Panthers, they went up to a quick lead, 3-0. And then what ended up happening is that Andy, with the short game, started chipping it away, throwing it short to Georgie, throwing it short to Mark.
Yeah.
And then once they got to 3-2, there's a couple stops there, a big drop, by Mark. It was a difficult catch. It would have been most probably catch of the week had he made it. But the fact that, they couldn't seal the deal, then, they tied it. And then you just gave Perra, one last go around with AJ.
Dude, and on the come back to be 3-0 and come back 3-3, bro. And they still had a drive left to close the game out. That's a heartbreaker for them. But that was a good game. I think I had Panthers winning, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well,
I had Cowboys.
I know that if I'm wrong, if I was wrong in any of these picks, I feel like I'm gonna get egged by Mike.
I think obviously with deferred, I think we didn't go unanimous on any of the games. I think there was always a split.
I had said that Cowboys were gonna fold this week for sure.
Well, it wasn't so much as folding; it was more of the fact that they were actually playing harder talent. And
which is what I said. I said at the end of the day, you play who you have to play. You can't control that, but you control if you're supposed to beat those teams and you do. Hey, there's a reason why they're 6-2. They got out. They're 6-0 against the teams that they should win.
Absolutely.
I think the best 2 teams in the conference beat them, and they can say all they want, but it really wasn't close, in my opinion. Obviously,
it should have been.
Coming back, but I just think it was just, as a team, we relaxed and we let our guard down. And then, once that happens, momentum is a real thing. Momentum is definitely a real thing.
And that's going to be something we're going to talk about later, because there was some movement in Panthers camp, and I'm going to want to touch back on that point. Did this spark the idea that there had to be a change in Panthers camp? Because by no stretch of the imagination did anyone think that the Panthers were a bad team. Everyone was very high on the Panthers. But a little of us are a little shocked at the fact that you actually did execute those trades. So something to look forward to in the rest of this segment, because we will put Mr. Guerra here under fire. We're going to want some clarity on Panthers camp. But moving on to the next game of the week that we had was Cowboys again against the Seahawks, and the aforementioned Peaky, he balled out.
Yes,
he just had another week.
Yeah,
Peaky. It's
Peaky
simple as
doing
that.
Peaky doing Peaky things. And if you guys know the voice, you guys heard the voiceover on the intro, and that kind of tells you where he's coming from and what a competitor he is. And
Yeah, you're surprised when Peaky doesn't do Peaky things. You know, you
Absolutely.
expect this team to always go, 3-4-0, 2-1-1, whatever the case. You always expect this team to go every week to go over 500.
Right.
And I want to say he's always done it. I think his worst week was 2-2 last week. I'm not sure. Oh, actually, no. Week 2 they went 1-3. But I mean, we also knew what was up in that team last season.
No, absolutely. Let's
he hit a dime game winner versus Andy, right?
Yeah, I think Andy. I think Andy was out that play, but yeah, I mean his tier 5 won in the game.
Right.
He threw I don't want to say it was a dime. It was kind of like an
wide open busted.
Yeah, it was definitely busted coverage. I don't think it was a crazy play call. If anything, it was a little bit like of an inverted windows, if you want to say. But it was just terrible. I don't know what the Cowboys were thinking. They literally covered Enzo with Roger, 3 people. When you see the video, 3 people literally flood one side. They all flood towards Enzo and they leave Ray wide open in the middle.
I'm the one that's recording the plays before they happen, and I'm there listening to what he's saying in the huddle. Exactly how Peaky called it. It's exactly how it was gonna. He's like, I'm not gonna look anywhere else. You're gonna stand in the middle, wait for it. The moment that I'm throwing it to you, it's gonna go to you. You're gonna finish this game, score on the and that is exactly what happened. Ray went to the end zone, hooked, ball landed right in his chest. Ball game. Let's watch these highlights.
That's a bad man.
I think this game was 3-2, no, I think. Or
it was 4-2, I think it ended. I'm not sure.
Nah, but I mean, there you go. Andy under center, big handoff, quick little pitch or whatnot. That's their
almost pick, yeah.
Yeah, that's their offense.
Yeah,
Andy's gonna keep it simple. He's not gonna take a lot of big risks.
That was way off.
Which you don't really have to. When you have 2 top dogs like that, you don't really have to take big risks. Biggie with his typical offense. I mean, I played him and I played him against this week, so I can tell you, yes, it's Biggie.
Look at that, bro. 2 people were wide open.
Yeah, 2 people are wide open. But it's just we'll see this week. What happens when I play Biggie. But Biggie thrives off that broken play. Everybody take off down the field. I'm just gonna throw.
Wide open.
Yo,
3 pink jerseys to the right.
You have Roger.
3 pink jerseys to the right. 1 pink jersey to the left.
Go back. You have Roger covering Ham. How does that even happen? Absolutely. You should never have Roger on Ham. Like, no, bro. What are you doing? I don't know. That was definitely a brain fart.
And they had talent on the field to defend. Georgie was on the field. Mark was on the field. Rafa was on the field. You elected not to rush, and how it's just I just don't understand. And the game ended 3-2. So before this play was 2-2, and that was the walk-off game winner, 3-2, and sparked our little intro excerpt from Peaky telling us what we already know, that he's the meta. But it is what it is. Outside of these games that we had this week, I still don't want to move on to next week. There's still too much to talk about from week 2. Of these games, who stood out for you in terms of performances, individual performances?
I mean, it's easy.
Individually,
yeah. Outside of these games of the week,
for me,
any notables? I for one loved to see Jaime, how he came in and immediately made a contribution.
21 catches, bro. I mean, 21 catches. What the? Come on, that is absurd. Like, 21 catches. I think he almost has as many receptions as me in half the games. Like, he's 21 in 4 games. Like, first week ever playing this. He did good, bro. And then Ian balled out with the tutties. Let me see how many touchdowns Ian had.
I would say. I mean, it's easy, but the start of the week, Lulu.
Yeah.
Lulu. Yeah.
Lulu's having a heck of a season. Lulu's having a heck of a season, showing us that the quality of a player that he truly is.
You go 4-0 with 10 passing touchdowns, rushing, receiving. That's all you need to know. He accounted for every single touchdown that his team scored. That's all you need to know.
Absolutely. You also had Julio.
That guy does everything on that team, bro.
Julio on the Falcons, man. He was wait, hold on. Not on the Falcons. On the I don't know, man, because like the teams got flipped around in here. Julio's on what team? Patriots anymore? No, he's on the Titans, right?
On the Titans, yeah.
And he scored, I think in one game he even had all 4 touchdowns for the team because he was another one that snapped last week. But obviously because everything had to be on top of him. So, you know, it's another performance, and it's sort of hard to sort of accept that some players, you know, they're playing great, but you know, we're only talking about, you know, the top 3, the top 4, because of the fact that, you know, either they're on bad teams or just their situation is not the right setup with the quarterback. And that's the beauty about DD, that you could have your home team, your travel team, but here in DD, you have to be able to play not only with, you know, the marginal gap in talent, but the fact that you might not be playing with your boys, you know, might be playing with your friends. And then that's sort of where chemistry comes in. And this is just another tidbit that I'm dropping as to, you know, is it another reason why Panthers camp had to make a bunch of trades? I don't know, but I'm prepping you up.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
For your inquiry. Now, outside of that, we're looking at the standings and we're seeing the teams that are on the top. Does anything change from your perspective? Do you still think that this is, you know, 49ers with the move that they make, that they're in contention, still being up there in the top 3? Or are we still rolling with the Chargers? I'm hearing Ian's foot is in a boot. I haven't been able to confirm.
I got kicked. My bad. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And my Coke fell all over the floor. My girlfriend's pissed. So can you give me 2 minutes to clean it up?
Hurry up, bro.
Well, that recaps week 2 games. The standings are left with the top 6 in the South being the Chargers, Falcons, Niners, Dolphins, Saints, and Patriots. Of the 6 who don't make it.
Oof.
Because you have the Raiders at 2-5, Ravens no shot, Bengals no shot, Buccaneers.
The only team that has
no shot.
The Raiders, but I know they're trying to replace their quarterback because Tommy's hurt, so I know they're trying to replace him. I'm not sure with who. I've heard the name Matt been thrown around.
Duluth.
Yeah, it definitely makes him more athletic. I don't know if it makes him better. Just because I think when Tommy's on, he's definitely a better quarterback than Matt. When athletic, it definitely makes him better.
Yeah, bro, that team sucks, bro. They're not going.
Yeah, I honestly, call me naive, but I'm gonna ride with the Bucks making another late season push
with that new roster.
Yeah, I think I feel
they're stacked. They're stacked.
I think a few of those guys are gonna come with a little chip on their shoulder, and I definitely
play them next week.
I want to say either the Falcons or the Saints take a step back.
Okay.
Facts.
Okay.
I think Falcons. I'm gonna say this one time, even though Lulu proved me wrong already. I still don't think that team is good. Call me a hater.
I mean, the top four in the South. I mean, going into the season, everybody said the South is stacked. It's not. The top 2 teams in the South, everyone's looking at them like frogs. Eddie with 2 tier 5s. I don't believe in that team. I never will. And Lulu, although it's Lulu, and damn, he's hard to stop. Week 4, they're going 0-4 without him. There's no way around.
100%. That team is horrific, bro.
Oh, there goes the bye. There goes their bye, and I think they're a team that needs the bye, because although Lulu is Mr. Cardio, I don't know if that rest of the team is Mr. Cardio. So even that one extra game that they potentially might have to play can definitely come back to bite them. So I think they need to go 4-0 this week again. And I know Lulu's idea was in drafting him at tier 2 was to try to get 1 win. Week 4, but man, it's gonna be tough without him.
Yeah,
I agree, man. I agree.
And especially if the Buccaneers just win half their games, they got 2 ties. They have 2 ties at their disposal, which it's going to give them a push when it comes to tiebreakers. So if they win 5-6 games, I think 6 is the magic number to get in. But it all
Yeah,
depends
I mean,
on how the
yeah,
Saints and
it's
the
tough.
Patriots
It's tough.
react.
They definitely. I would say if they go eight, it's a big reach, but it's the same thing we said last season. If they go 6-2, just like the Bucks did last season, I don't think they get in because that only gives them a total of 20 points. And right now, I
They're
think
at
the
2 points. They're sitting at 2 points.
yeah. So that gives them
22. It'll put them at 22.
No, 20, because if they win 6 games, that's 3 points per game. So that's 18.
Okay.
They'll finish with 20 points. I don't know if that gets them in. I think 7, 8, or 7, 6, and 2. I think no 7, 7, and 2. 7, 7, and 2 gets them in. If they're able to go 7-1 these last 2 weeks, I think they sneak in. Because like I said, I don't think the Falcons are gonna
There's
go.
no room for error. It all
Yeah.
depends on how the teams above them do.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Falcons not having Lulu for the last week, it's going to affect their seeding, and that's going to affect their big picture. I don't think it'll keep them.
I think they're a lock. Yeah, I think
they're
they're a
locked.
lock.
They're already in. They got the 7 wins, so they're going to be in, and they're going to just by inertia they're going to get wins this week because Lulu's there.
Yeah.
If they win out, they're going to be in prime position.
Yeah, I truly believe the Saints are bound to take a step back. And
You killed them.
well, it wasn't me. And then believe it or not, I mean, Mikey, I've told you this. I don't think your defense is any good. So if you're not outscoring teams, and you're not that prototypical number 1 guy, and I don't know. I'm not sold on you guys either. So I don't think you guys are gonna take a step back that significant, but I think the Patriots will overtake you guys. But
Baca,
yeah,
Jaime, Carlos.
just because Bach, I'm gonna take Bach over David. It's not even I think the whole team as a whole, because I think if you put the team side by side, I think as a whole you take the Dolphins. But that one player, I'm taking Bach over David. Just size, you can't teach size, and worst case, you can just throw it up to Bach. Not saying they don't have anyone else to throw, but if Jaime gets a handoff, all he has to do is throw it up to Bach. It doesn't have to be a precision throw.
Low key, bro. They tried low key in Davis' defense. You could ask Lewis what happened when they tried doing that, but that's for another. That's off topic. And I think there's plenty of footage of. I think he had like 8 targets in a row trying to upball David, and so
no, David can definitely defend himself. There's no question about that. But I'm just saying it doesn't take a lot.
What I factor in with the Dolphins, it's not necessarily David and Mikey. It's what comes after the fact, because you have.
I'm not
Baca,
even the leading receiver in my team.
You have Baca and Jaime. That's your 1-2 for the Patriots. But then you have Carlos, and Carlos is a utility knife. You could put him for the handoff. You could put him at center. You could put him out in motion. He could rush.
That guy, I clamp him. It's GG's for him next week.
Right. But then that's the third one. That's the third guy. Your third guy on that team is Manny. Then or Jose. Who's the third guy on that team? On the Dolphins?
It's Manny. Manny's the tier 3.
Manny's
the top.
I'm taking Carlos over Manny.
Better.
I'm taking
100%.
Carlos over Manny. 100%.
But then the bottom
Carlos
two,
over
is
Manny.
where you win according to everybody. You got to give it to the Dolphins.
And then you have Jose and Boo versus
CP and Tony.
I'm taking Jose and Boo.
So am I. So that's why, as a whole. But if it comes down to
who's gonna play better at quarterback is gonna win that game, whether it be handoff or not. Whoever shows up to play quarterback better,
it's a big game.
Win that game.
Yeah.
And honestly, David versus Baca. I know what you're saying with the handoff and you throw it to Baca, but how many times are we going to disrespect David? Like, it's just that.
I don't think anyone's disrespecting him. I'll say, like I said, listen, he was ranked over Baca. He was ranked, I think, 3rd, right? I think 3rd, and Baca was 4th. I'm just saying, if it comes down to, like, let's say Mikey gets a handoff, he has to make a throw to David. If Jaime or Carlos gets a handoff, they can just throw it up to Baca, and that's already a chance. It's a 50-50 ball.
Okay. I see the point you're trying to make. And, no offense to you, Mikey, but I will take Jaime over you. So.
I'll do it too.
And twice on a DD Saturday. Now, on the Done Deal North, at the Done Deal North, we have the Seahawks and Peaky at first place. Then you have the Cowboys, Bears, Panthers, Giants, and Cardinals. Now, there's a logjam between the 6th and the 9th spot because the 6th team is the Cardinals. They had 3 wins. Then you have the 7th with the Jaguars, the 8th, the Steelers, and the Titans all have 2 wins.
Yeah, they're all essentially a game back.
Exactly. So if the Giants if the Giants do not pick up steam quick, then they might be in trouble just as bad as the Cardinals, because one of these teams below them could just have one good week and surpass them. And then we see it happen last season where, you know, you just get into the six, get into the final count, get into the final week, and yeah, you know, pressure bust pipes, and some teams folded. Some teams did fold on the final week last year. So I think that if we're going to see teams drop out of the playoffs and have some surprises, I think the North is going to give us more of a show than the South can. I think the South is a little bit more locked. It's just how the seeding is going to play, which is important, because once you get to the playoffs, especially in the time of the year that we're playing, where we're playing at, the time we're playing at, the less amount of time that you're on that field, the better for you. So it's competitive. It's competitive.
Does Green Bay still have a chance?
No, they're out. They're out. The
like
only
statistically out.
They're not. They're not.
They're 1-7. Well,
Yeah.
they have a better shot statistically than the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers have 2 points and they have 3.
They're not out, but they're out. Their trades, although they did get better, it doesn't make them a contender, in my opinion. And even if they do have word,
I have insider info that they got Pablo for Hollywood. Hollywood's been hurt, so whatever, they get better there, arguably. But they got a quarterback in some tier 4. I don't know who that guy is.
A tier 3, Seabass. But that was the same quarterback that got pulled less than 10 minutes into the game with Laura.
Yeah.
So
now, but how much is that Laura being an NFL caliber player?
I mean, I was like, I don't think you guys gave him enough of an opportunity. Like half a game, not even a full game, and it's the first game of the season.
Yeah, bro.
Not enough. So I will say that. I definitely will say that. But
because let's take a step back. Who's throwing to Laura all the time? You know, whether, you know, forget about the fact that he played in the NFL, that he played collegiate ball. He's on 305. You know, he's used to playing with high caliber quarterbacks. So obviously, this being his first season in DD, I don't know. It just might have been a shock for him playing with a lesser talent level.
It had to happen. It had to happen. He might not, you know, he's too competitive, I think, to ever admit it. But I think he had to have been shocked. He definitely was humbled. I mean, hey, he made a couple moves. They haven't made a move. That's another camp that has a lot of turmoil, and there's a lot of turmoil in that camp.
Okay, so that's why you almost slipped up there. So there's movement in the camp, but nothing has been triggered.
No, nothing official, but there's a lot of movement in that camp.
So we might be outdated by the time this show airs. Well, I hope so.
I hope so,
because it's not looking too good for Jaguars camp over there. But obviously, this week is going to paint a big picture in terms of how we're going to go into week 4 and how much of these contenders are pretenders, and if we have any contenders amongst the pretenders.
Yeah.
That said, well, that's enough about the league, enough about wins, losses, week 2 stats, highlights. Let's get to the juicy talk. Let's get to the trades, because something spectacular happened yesterday. And two role players in the events from yesterday are on screen, and I'm not one of them. So would you guys like to give me some insight on what happened yesterday, please?
I don't think Mikey really knows. I don't,
but I have an infographic for you people that need to visualize this, because I know it can get complicated. Right down here. Speak on it, Peja. Describe what happened. Who orchestrated this? Because it seems like grown-ups run the league right now. I'm gonna be honest with you. You got the league by the
ownership group. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. They're everywhere.
It seems like everyone lost his trade except G's.
So I'll say this. I was very adamant about the fact that I loved my team. And I don't want to say in constant communication, but I was definitely communicating with AJ, and I told him, the only request I told him, I was like, if you are going to trade me, that's fine with me. I'm not going to get hurt. Like, I know what DD is, but please let me know prior to. I don't want to find out in the news chat. So, and I told him, I was like, I'm not shopping you. I've been approached, and I'm going to counter, see if I think I can get better and I can counter, then we'll talk. And there was definitely talks last week, you know, right away, you know, heated talks. I told him what the offer was. It was a little bit OP. Few of the teams backed off, so I was like, all right, whatever, and I was perfectly fine. But yesterday morning, I get a text from somebody's team that's on this panel, from a player for somebody's team, and they were like, "Yo, let's make it happen." And I was like, "No way!" I was like, "Let's make it happen." So, like, same thing I told AJ. I was like, the offer that was presented to me wasn't something that I was looking forward to. So I countered. I'm like, let's see what happens if I counter and see where people's minds are at. You know, because one thing I believe is the first trade you're never gonna like. It's impossible. You're never gonna get a trade off done off the first offer. So I'm like, let's counter. So I counter. It worked out because the one thing I definitely wanted to do was I didn't want to screw anyone over and send them to like the Ravens.
The Packers.
You did screw someone over.
Yeah, but you know, I didn't want to do that. So that's why that first trade kind of went, you know, down the side, because it was a bad team was involved, and I was like, I can't do that to my people. So this team approached me. It was a 3-way deal, and it was 3 pretty good teams. I was like, listen, I think it makes sense for everybody. Like I told you when we talked on the phone, welcome to Panthers camp. You freaked out for a second there. You were a Panther for a good 28 seconds until they backed off that trade. But, you know, that got
there was multiple people in Dolphins camp, correct?
No, it was one person.
One person elaborating all this in Dolphins camp. Okay.
Yeah. So, and then that got my juices flowing again. I was like, all right, bro, let's see what's up. And then Suazo goes like, bro, what else can I do? I was like, damn, you still looking to trade? Okay, let me work something up. Yeah, man, I worked something up, you know, with the helps of somebody behind the scenes, and it worked out. We made another call. Person said, hey, if you're calling me, I'm down to play. And we didn't think much of it, honestly. It was somebody from the Bucs who didn't really think much of it. But once they said pull the trigger, I reached out to the remaining players on the Bucs. They said, bro, sounds good to me.
Yeah, they don't care. Bucs are at a point where
they didn't care. Like, yes. So I will say this. It wasn't as much as they didn't care. It was just like, I'm like, listen, bro, it is what it is. You guys are getting a lot better.
It's a lot. They are getting a lot. Team, if record was 0-0, they're probably the best team. Like out of those 3 in this infographic, arguably, talent-wise on paper.
Yeah, 100%. Because you want to argue they don't have a quarterback, okay, but you know, Genesis is a tryhard. Ant is he's a captain. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care if he didn't want to be a captain. He's a freaking captain. The guy's a stud.
I bet he regrets not being a captain.
He's a captain.
I bet he regrets not being a captain now.
KP is definitely a talent level physical player. He has all the tools. You know, like I said, Genesis is a tryhard. I think Caesar, he's super fast, something like that. Honestly, I've never seen him play, but apparently he's super fast. And then Chris P was my tier 5. Listen, he has 20 catches in 2 weeks.
What I loved about this was that nobody saw it coming. Nobody saw it coming. Well, at least from you know, outside the scenes, you know, I know that there's been a lot of trouble brewing in Dolphins camp. You know, down there in headquarters there in Dolphins camp, there's been a lot of talk. There's a lot of animosity. They might not want to publicly, you know, confirm it, but there's been a lot of comments, and it hasn't been one person. It's been multiple people within that team. And so, you know, that's why, you know, if there's smoke, there's fire. And
definitely there's
right now there's smoke, but we don't know where the fire's coming from. That's how it is up in the Dolphins tent.
Mikey, I don't very listen, awkward you know this Saturday. I don't trust you to stay put, and I know that you're gonna pull the trigger before Saturday. Something has to happen. You guys can't play as is. You guys can't play as is. You need to trust the next guy. You need to trust the next guy. So whether it was you're
absolutely right.
Whether it was David, whether it was Jose, whether it was Manny, whether it was Boo.
David definitely
I don't know who
has a big part in it. I definitely will say that.
I think I know who it is. I
think
I know who it is.
I honestly think the least informed person and the person less influential in that whole team is Mikey.
It's me, bro. Yo, I'm there studying, getting
You're
calls.
just
and
getting
texts
ready
from
for
80
boards,
teams.
bro.
Yo, this guy is calling me, trying to get you on this package. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? I'm calling people up like, wait, who? Why am I? What did I do? Okay, just make sure it's not a bad team. Click, next call. I'm tripping out. But it smells like possum. It smells like reptilian in my chat. It smells like fungus. It's
This man said
quiet.
reptilian.
Yo, I wrote in the chat, I'm like, yo, it's rather quiet here. And everyone just responds, ...
So my question is, who's taking the 10 on Saturday?
Bro, you're taking the 10. I don't know what's about to go down, dog.
Yeah,
It- it-
I
don't know.
fully
Oh
expect
man.
by 7:55, or I think the deadline is 9 o'clock. So by 8:55 p.m. Friday night, it's gonna be a massive trade involving the Dolphins.
If the trade happens after this, guys, and if I'm editing on time, I'm dropping the trade right here, right now. Bam.
Good
No,
call.
I don't think you're gonna have
Good call,
time, bro. This
Mikey.
is
Good
definitely
call,
gonna go
Mikey.
down. That's definitely gonna go down the last hour of the deadline.
Now
Never
we talked a
know.
little bit about the trades. Now, and obviously we saw the infographic and how much teams have changed. We talked about the standings, and we elaborated a little bit on which teams have a potential, if they put 2 good weeks, that they could propel themselves into the playoffs. That being said, who's the biggest winner of all these transactions? Or did everyone win? You won, Pedro? Well, you're with your
Becca's
boys.
bias. Yeah, let me give my honest opinion.
I think the Bucks, honestly.
It sucks because of their record, but I agree with
They're
you
the
in that
biggest winner.
sense. But it's
but
hard.
there's genius to that. There's genius to that. He found value and a trade partner that had nothing to lose and everything to gain.
You put gods on a team where you know that they're not gonna be there in playoffs. So like it's
And
like
he got
going
and he
smart
it was a stroke of genius. It was a stroke of genius.
Yeah,
I think
was.
this is up there with Enzo trading teams and records. Legit.
Yeah, that's the only reason where I think Enzo beats me. The fact that he was also able to trade records,
And he was
But-
able to, the trade got him into the playoffs.
but the fact that I was able to get 6 people to agree on a trade,
That's monumental.
because remember now it's 2 people per team.
Right.
So if you want to say I had, obviously it was me and Pepito staying behind, so you would imagine we were going to agree on that. That's fine. But whether it was Suazo and then Suazo talking to Bert, whether it was Genesis or Caesar and vice versa, like 6 people had to agree on that trade.
Yeah. Hey, listen.
All right.
I
So
think
who wins?
it's
in a
great for the
1v1?
league. The trades are great for the league.
Who wins in a 1v1?
Old Panthers or New Panthers? Who wins this game? Best out of 3. Like if you guys had to play, what team you like better? Be honest. What team wins?
Best out of, well, the problem is, I'm going to win regardless.
Yeah,
Duh,
you're on both.
duh.
But bro, to be honest, I have to go with the new Panthers. I have to go. The problem is, I understand 100%. I get where AJ is a little like perplexed, like, bro, you traded me and Anna away 100%. But I've had Chris D and Paulie. I've had 2 horses already. What I've never had is what everyone claims is the way to win in the D, which is having a good tier 4 and 5 matchup. I become my team's tier 5 now. Like, that's a problem. Tell me what tier 5 I can't cover.
No. I get what you're saying. Your team is very well balanced, and plus you guys are
banned.
friends. You
And
guys
then
play
we
with each other.
have the chemistry aspect. We have like the dogs and like the energy aspect. Like
Absolutely. No, I get why you made the trade, and I'm just saying it's a stroke of genius the way that you did it. That you kind of stashed great players in teams that will never.
And I traded him
affect you.
away where I know I don't have to play him unless they get to the final.
Touche, brother. Well done. Well
Do
done.
Saints make playoffs?
I think they have the talent to make playoffs. I just don't
It all
know.
depends how they're going to react.
Yeah.
Are they still
Well,
going to be
I texted
upset
them.
about the trade? The
They're
chemistry-
they're mortified. They're mortified.
Yeah, it's
Cheeky's not. Cheeky's like, oh, I have a chance. Who can I throw to? I said some really fast black guy from Sportsman. His name's AJ. He's like, for real?
I helped him out.
Cheeky's ecstatic, but AJ is not. AJ's mortified, bro.
my question mark was Why hasn't Eddie made a move? Why didn't he trade David?
I think I'm not saying he's doing the smart thing. Listen, again, we still have 2 days that are going to be crazy. Maybe nothing
That smirk
happened.
tells me everything. There's more to come. There's
Definitely more to come, but I think Eddie's being smart in terms of he's holding out. He's not gonna be able to get a tier 2. There's no way. No one's gonna pay that type of ransom for David Davila, but he's gonna hold out for a tier 3 that he absolutely loves.
Because I see the Raiders needing a quarterback. David could play quarterback. I think that's a match made in heaven. What do you get back from the Raiders? What will the DDPA prove?
It would have
to bring in a third team.
No, exactly. It would have to be for Tommy, and then Eddie now can replace Tommy with whoever he wants type of scenario.
Nah, for that, Lewis just gets his own quarterback from off the street.
But who he can bring in, though? That's the thing. Remember, it has to be fair value.
Fair value, correct.
So that's where it's a little tricky, So, but definitely.
Whereas Eddie could go for an athlete, at least at that level.
Exactly. Eddie can say, I'll give you David for Tommy. Give me a tier 3. Now I can pick up a tier 3 level talent.
Yeah.
I think the Chargers need some. Well, they don't need to make a move, but I think they should make a move. I think obviously, depending on what happens with Tommy and who replaces Tommy, if it's an athlete, that tells you all you need to know. The Raiders are definitely going to trade for a quarterback.
Where there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah.
What name have you heard? I know you have your ear to the ground, Perra. What name have you heard several times that you feel is going to get shipped before deadline day?
I'll let Mikey go first.
A name, dog? I'm going to give you a name that might get shipped before trade deadline? Bruh. This is just a name that's going around a lot, and it's only because this is what's getting people are calling me. They're asking.
It can't be someone on your team, though.
Oh, then. Nah, because that's all I'm getting, dog. Bro, that's the name that I'm getting the most. But
listen, I think if anybody,
Mikey's nervous already.
Yeah, Mikey's nervous. I put him on the spot, and this guy's computer flipped.
Adri, can you help me? Can you help me? The book is not gonna work.
I think that if any team is, trying to solidify or try to get up in the position on the table and to make a good playoff run, I think 2 people that you have to look at is Marshall and Julio. How are you going to get one of those 2 guys on your team? They're in a bad spot. And those are 2 players that if you get them individually, they could upgrade your team because they're athletes. Now, those are the 2 names that for me just makes the most sense for them to be able to get onto a good team and then sort of maybe re-inject the Falcons. The Titans again with the Falcons.
Now that you say Julio, there's a little nugget about Julio though.
What's the nugget with Julio?
Julio might miss week 4.
For what?
What?
Really?
This just a little nugget, But again, a team that's in a playoff spot can take that gamble.
Could take that hit. Okay.
Listen, but then the thing, I like those 2 names. The problem is that's a lot of value.
Okay.
That's
you think it'll be easier to
Is
move?
it a lot of value though? Do you think I feel I'm gonna be honest, bro. I have nothing against Marshall, but is there really a lot of value?
Yeah, Marshall can cover anyone.
Absolutely.
One-on-one.
It just depends what you give up for Marshall, but you want Marshall on your team.
You don't want him.
What team are they again?
You don't want him as your captain.
What team are they?
The Titans. They're not on the stat sheet.
Wow.
Mikey, te pasa, bro.
This?
Mikey, te pasa.
Titans. All right, let's check this out. So, guy has 10 catches. Congratulations, 10 catches. That you're averaging 1.5 catch a game. You are non-existent offensively, my friends. Moving on. Flags pulled 19. That's pretty good. I guess he's fast and chasing people around. He's thrown 0 picks, 0 sacks. The guy is non-existent. He's easily probably the worst tier 2 in the whole thing, statistically on paper. Can he run a combine, a 40-yard dash? and beat everybody, yeah, bro. Maybe he got an A+ in PE.
Well, I'm not saying that Marshall's going to be your number one guy. I'm saying that one of these playoffs teams that they already have the chemistry, they already have the core, they can maybe ship off one of their assets off and upgrade to a Marshall or Julio. Julio's having a great season. I feel that Marshall, he's having a good defensive season. And if he gets put into the right position with the right offense, it's just that we've just seen Marshall in bad spots. In the tourney, didn't click with Kevin. Last season, the debacle that was his team, they didn't pick right. They didn't pick right.
Yeah, they missed.
Consistently, you see Marshall at a point of disadvantage in which either, he has control, but then doesn't make the right decision because of his inexperience leading a team, or he gets put on a team that doesn't fit his quality. And Marshall's a damn good football player, and it's frustrating to me to see this guy.
Is he a good football player, or is he a good athlete? That's just two different things, bro.
Well, guys, I'm sorry to break it to you, but we got breaking news as we're recording. Trojan horse in the Dolphins has been traded out of the Dolphins. So we got the Dolphins traded for Ernie.
You're lying.
And who got traded out of the Dolphins?
It happened?
Jose Martinez.
My God, my chest smells clean.
Wait, that's your phone or your girl's phone?
So my girl's covered. But
yeah, because I was about to say the cheetah print.
I knew it. Yo, when you put the rat traps, the rats come out, and he got shit. No offense to you, hey Jose, I love you, but it smelled like snake, man. A move had to be made.
This man said reptilian. This man said reptilian.
Let's Iron Man week 4, Dolphins, and Ernie. We Iron Man week 3 and Ernie. I'll see you week 4, Jose. Good luck on the Ravens, brother. Woo! What a move. God, I love David. Moving on. Sorry, I got off track there. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that was live, and that was a live reaction. Beautiful.
Wow.
Now, with that said, let's move on to week 3. First game, Falcons, Chargers, 8:45.
Let's give a nugget first. Ian might be hurt, might not play, unknown, undisclosed. If he's hurt, Falcons win. Yeah. If he's playing, I got San Diego all day. I got Falcons both ways.
Yeah, I think I got Falcons both ways. Just because.
No matter what.
Just because Shamir is very underrated.
Yeah,
he's underrated. At the end of the day, it's easy to say it's going to come down to the quarterbacks. If Eddie plays well, which I don't think it's a matter of if, it's just a matter of how well he plays. But I think it's just how well he manages those 2 tier 5s.
Ian's limited.
No, Ian is going to be what? George at center.
No Ian, and that team is.
Well, you have George at center, David as your first receiver, which that no shot. David has to be the receiver. Then Eddie.
0-4 if Ian does not play. 0-4.
Yeah, 100%. But even if Ian does play, I think the limited, bro, has been put out there enough. Like I don't understand why people don't realize. You hold on that first 2 drives, the next 3 they should not stop you with 2 tier 5s on the field. So I think Lulu will be able to exploit that.
Yeah. 11:45. I have no idea how this is a game of the week. We got Niners and Bengals.
That's a revenge game.
I'll tell you why.
Revenge game.
Kevin got shipped out of the Niners to the Bengals. That's why.
And
I still don't think the Bengals are gonna do anything.
No, no, it's Niners all day. I'm gonna
watch it. I'm gonna this. Jordan got exactly what he wanted.
Yeah. No. BD's a major
as successful as Kevin has been and will always be in done deal. You can't have your tier 2 rushing.
No. But I always said that.
Game than people think.
Huh?
This will be definitely a closer game. People think. Listen, Kevin thrives when he's allowed to be Kevin.
Right.
And we know him and Jordan it wasn't happening. It wasn't clicking.
I know, Kevin thrives. The idea of Petey and Jordan together on defense. I saw that team play. I know that Kevin was putting clamps on Nick Hughes' production. He got one reception all day, and I was looking at him, and he was just shipping them off deep field, deep pitch, route this way, get out of my way. Let me just find my other guys. I feel that he's underrated as a player. I know that everyone takes a dump on him. He's underrated as a player. Jordan's a heck of an amazing player. Petey's a heck of an amazing player, full of experience. I think that team and little Baca.
I think that team stayed the same, to be honest. I don't think they got worse, just because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how good Nick is playing as a tier 5. He's a tier 5. And you lost a big person in Gianni. That Gianni was underrated as a rusher and super fast. Like, I saw him when he played the Bucks. He sacked Cheeky, I think, like 3 times that game. And like, he was there every single throw. And Cheeky's a very elusive quarterback. So
well, you would put Jordan PD at safety, Jordan at the corner, or Jordan at
no.
corner?
Jordan's gonna stay at safety, and PD's gonna stay at corner.
And then Baca Jr. at rushing, and then you have who on the
perimeter? I would assume. I don't know. I would assume. At the end of the day, it's just obviously you have 2 captains. You have a great tier 3 offensively. He's definitely a tier 2 in my opinion, Baca. But then at the end of the day, you have 2 tier 5s, and then Baca's missing week 4, so they need to do well this week.
Right. I got Niners. I know you. Who do you guys got?
No, I got Niners. I got Niners. I got Niners. It's gonna be a closer game than people think. I don't think it's Niners. Like a 4, I think 4-2, but a close 4-2.
4-2 Niners. Then we also got now Chargers and a 4-man Dolphins team. But then
holy shit, yeah.
But now we fall back to the same conundrum: is Ian playing or not? And Eddie says he's playing. Others that know Ian very closely, Ian's on a boot. So it's the same foot. He's coming back off from his injury. Yeah. Do you risk it for a week 3? Do you hold him out for week 4? Can you afford to go Iron Man with 2 tier 5s?
I think it's part of being a captain in DD. You got to take a look at your schedule, and you got to take a look at your schedule next week. Knowing that you have the 49ers missing a tier 3. Knowing that you're going to have the Falcons missing their captain. So if you have those 2 teams in your schedule week 4, you say, okay, maybe we can risk it week 3, knowing that week 4, we're more than likely going to get two easier games. Or vice versa, you say, let's go easy this week, rest another week, knowing that next week, if you play, it's a guaranteed win.
Right.
Yeah.
It can play either way, but it's part of being a captain. But I think if Ian plays, I don't think it's even close, because then the 2 tier 5s don't become a factor. I think it's a 4-1 for the Chargers. If Ian doesn't play, then I think it's 4-1 the opposite way. Dolphins win.
Yeah, it's all on Ian's balling, bro. Ian's balling, and he's a factor. We played once already. I think we lost 4-3. And the guy that actually killed us was Julio, bro. I made a mistake rushing Eddie. I won't do it again. But bro, I agree with Peja. It's all on Ian, and to not be biased, San Diego's a good team. And if Ian's not there, bro, they're done, bro. They need Ian.
Yeah, like I said, if Ian's there, I think Chargers beat Dolphins 4-1 because the 2 tier 5s don't become a factor because they're going 4 hard. If Ian's not there, 4 hard versus 4 hard, I got Dolphins 4-1.
Let's see what Ian does, bro.
And final game, 12:30, the 4th game of the week. New look Panthers against the meta Beaky. What do you guys got?
It's a new look Seahawks too. We got to see how the new tier 5, judge them. I mean, I personally like Michael, and I think he's a bit of an upgrade over Ray. But I mean, I
don't even know who that guy is, bro.
He was in the Buckeyes in the tournament.
None of the success of the Seahawks has anything to do with Ray. It's in spite of Ray. So
I wouldn't go that far, but I just Beaky's Beaky. He's gonna make everybody look good. He made Manny S look good. Even though I'm a big fan of Manny S. Obviously I think Ray as a tier 5 is a problem. Andres is very sneaky and a problem, especially to those that had never seen him play. Andres is a problem, man. Andres is a problem on both.
He has 9 sacks.
Exactly.
He has 9 sacks. I brought this up in the last episode that I said that he was on pace to break the record. You guys told me that no, it could just been one strong week. He's at 9 sacks.
Yeah, so
he pulls off another 3-4 sacks. Then we're gonna go into week 4. On record talk. I'm gonna take champagne and everything. Hey, if a record gets broken, we're popping champagne bottles.
Okay. I mean, listen, I think the first game we played the Seahawks, it was a 4-2 game, but it should have been 4-3. We had a drop touchdown. on a little bit of a high throw, but it was a good game. So I anticipate another good game. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to full 30 minutes. But
Who's gonna line up in front of Ham?
That's what I'm thinking, bro. That's what I'm thinking, bro. Pauly's on Enzo, and that's clamps. Enzo's having a good year, but once you get
It's
a
Pauly.
real someone,
Pauly.
yeah. And Ham is probably gonna get a bunch of targets, bunch of bombs, and I don't see who's gonna. And then who's rushing Beaky is gonna be tough too.
So this is what I will
We got
say.
Pepito rushing.
We definitely have an iron horse and a Trojan horse. When it comes
Oh,
to
wait,
Pepito.
because what's an iron whore? Because I didn't know what that one was.
But yeah, I think it's gonna be a little bit of a different game than people think. It's not gonna be.
I like old Carolina this week. I think they find a way to beat Seattle. New Carolina Panthers. I think Seattle beats them.
Are you going to be all-time QB or are you rotating out, Perra?
That's another strategy that can't be discussed yet.
You see what I'm saying? Oh man, I love that I'm learning so much about. I love that I'm learning so much about DD, bro. I love that I'm learning so much about DD.
Like I said, there's a lot of strategy going to be put into this game and into this team. That's why I made the trade, because we have the chemistry, so we can honestly do whatever we feel like doing.
You guys know each other, bro. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I don't.
I obviously got Panthers.
I'm picking Seahawks. I'm picking Seahawks. I just don't see how Peaky loses to your style of game, and I just feel like he'll pick apart that defense.
I got Panthers 4-1.
Damn!
I like that. Like I said, the Seahawks, but like 4-3, but like not 4-1.
Maybe again, I got maybe 3-2 time runs out or 4-2 Seattle wins. Like damn, 4-1 Panthers, dude. Come on, I was solid.
Now, like I said, we have a little hidden secret not a lot of people know about.
Bueno,
we're just gonna have to stay tuned and watch. Now, the very next thing that we wanted to introduce to the show, because one of the things that we wanted to do, with DDLive, we didn't want to take away from the other segments, and top plays had become something, and you guys know that from the previous season that on this show we would do highlights and we would do ducks and dimes. So we're trying to figure out something else that we could try to contribute for the league without taking away content from other content creators. And one of the things that we came up with as a group is an MVP watch list. And we're going to continue to keep pushing the narrative that there should be an offensive player MVP and a defensive player MVP. So with this next info that we're going to be putting up is our watch list of who should be MVP. Mikey, you want to walk us through it?
Yeah. So obviously, we already know what you're thinking right now. We got Lulu as MVP, but we know he's gonna miss a week, but we still want to show him some love.
It's gonna change week to week.
Yeah, technically,
if the season ended today, this would be our ballot.
He is the all-around. What saves him is that he has receiving and rushing, passing touchdowns. If you combine them both, he's still at the same level of touchdowns produced as Beaky and Eddie. He has sacks. He has interceptions he has 18 flag. The guy's he plays all 5 positions like LeBron. That's an MVP to me. A true football player of DD, a both way guy, and you have to give him that. Unfortunately, he's missing week 4, so he probably will not stay there. But I hope week 3 he drops 16 touchdowns and does like 9 interceptions and makes it irrefutable. But
it makes it a definitely debate, because I think definitely right now it's a definite debate. Especially that, in my opinion, out of those 3 candidates, he's doing the more with less.
Right.
True.
Then you would say that Eddie's doing more than Peaky, because at the bare minimum, Eddie's playing with 2 tier 5s, though he had to go 4-man on one of those.
Yeah. Weeks. So the only reason why I would put Eddie over Peaky is because of the narrative of 2 tier 5. Even though we know week 2 he didn't have to deal with that, but just going off, off right now, week 2, it's a bigger surprise to me. Doesn't matter. They were still able to go. They actually went better. They went 4-0 with 2 tier 5s.
Eddie's a better, statistically speaking, not in real life. Don't get booty hurt, my players. He has 4 picks. Peaky only has 1. Eddie has more flag pulls by 5, I think. He's doing more on defense, picking up the slack for his 2 tier 5s, whereas Peaky has Enzo, who has 5 interceptions. Andres has 9 sacks, 19 flag pulls. You know, he has a defense working for him. Eddie's doing this by himself, bro. Like, for the most part. I know he has
100%,
Ian.
100%.
So
Yeah.
I got Eddie second. And if you take Lulu out of the picture, assuming, I don't know who can climb in as a third, a sneaky. I don't know who would. Being biased, I would say maybe if David picks it up, he's like slightly behind Eddie and Peaky's numbers because he has 3 picks, 19 flag pulls, 23 touchdowns. He's right there with them.
I mean, this is definitely the week to make up because he's going to be on the field.
For sure.
Right.
So this is definitely the week to make up. I just think it might be a little too much too late because you guys. I mean, again, Eddie
and
can
the record.
Yeah, Eddie. Yeah, the record. You need to finish top 2 seed to be even in consideration.
Right. Unless you were in such a bad spot that that your game transcended what your team was able to do.
Yeah, unless an Ant or a KP go
right
freaking nuts and they lead the Bucks to 8-0 in the playoffs.
Right.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Now,
but it's a good race, bro. It's tight.
One of the things that we continue to discuss on the show is the fact that it's the same guys. It's the same guys. It's Lulu.
Is it really? I wasn't here last season.
It's the quarterbacks. It's
exactly.
the quarterbacks.
Exactly.
It's just football gravitates towards the quarterback. It's the hardest position to play. It's the one with the most pressure. You don't win at all because all eyes are on you. You win the game, everyone's just going to think of the receiver. You lose the game, you threw the interception. So, the play calling, do you call your own plays? So the quarterback has a lot of pressure, and I get it. That's why we gravitate towards the quarterback as being the focal point of who should be the most valuable for a team. That being said, to spread the love, there are players that are not two-way players. We have a lot of tier 1s and tier 2s that are not two-way players, that they're extremely good at one side of the ball and, fair or average on the other side of the ball. Not to take anything from them, but the fact that they're not like these other players, like a Peaky or a Lulu, where they could be elite on 2 sides of the field. On done deal, they cannot. So that said, offensive player of the year through 2 weeks. Who do you got?
I think without a question, I think is Mark. I mean, you can debate Andy, but Mark coming into DD first season, a tier 2. Obviously, he's comfortable with Georgie, and that team has blossomed. So I know that team has great chemistry. But man, what he's doing as a tier 2, like offensively, he's leading. I don't think he's leading the league because Ian had his little game against Jordan last week. But besides that, he's been dominating.
He's second.
Yeah,
he's second in touchdowns, has 13.
I think he's first. He's tied for first in catches. Like he's the tier 2, but you can argue he is the tier 1. He's the guy on offense for the Cowboys, and as a receiver, he's doing it all.
In spite of having Georgie on that team.
Yeah.
In spite of having Georgie on that team.
I feel like if you were to do like a redraft, it'd be you could argue that Mark could have probably been overall number 1, maybe instead of and just offensively, like things like that. That Mark has really made a name for himself, bro. Like he's balling, dude. I really like him to continue doing what he's doing. Hopefully he keeps going, but right now, I got Mark also, man.
What about defensive player? Someone that you want him as your cornerstone on defense. You know that maybe on offense he's not going to be that guy, but that he's going to make an impact and he's going to tilt the game in your favor. He's going to get that flag pull. He's going to get that pick. He's going to get that sack. So, who is it?
So here's an infographic of who we got right now. This guy doesn't have any crazy numbers except that he's leading the league in flag pulls, and this video is showing it to you guys.
It's all
he
hustle.
Covers for all. Yeah, it's all hustle. This guy's covering for his rushers. No offense to Mike, who sometimes isn't the best rusher. What's the other blonde guy in his team that rushes sometimes? Andres. Here's videos of him missing Drew or missing Peaky, I think. And dude, this guy's running all the way from safety, from corner down, and coming and pulling that flag. Like, this guy's a leader. I've read 3 of his games. Stats won't show it, but Dusty is balling, bro. Like he's a defensive leader, and I think
he's one of those guys that came into the season with a huge boulder on his shoulder because he didn't have the best tournament, and that was his first go around as a captain, and he was super disappointed in himself. And then he got a little bit of slack for trading out of the number 1 pick, so he definitely, he traded out the number 1 pick, but then stayed with the last pick in the draft. So like he got a lot of slack for that. So that's why I said that man came into the season with a boulder on his shoulder, trying to prove it. And I think at least, I mean, offensively too, I think he's top 10. He has to be top 10 in catches. But I mean, bro, what that guy is doing defensively, like Mikey said, it may not show in the stats, but the leadership, the hustle, the heart that guy's showing to the rest of his team only makes the rest of his team,
play that much
Yeah,
better.
bro.
play that much harder and that much better for him.
It's given Danny so many opportunities to get interceptions, all these other people to step up. Like I watched them, man.
You see, Dusto on one side of the field, you're throwing to the other side.
Yeah, and that's why Danny's been able to ball so hard, dude. And I know there's a lot of debates about who else could be. So yes, there's arguments on defense. Like I like Andres too. 9 sacks, 19 flag pulls. This guy's also if he could keep that up, maybe he can fight for defensive.
If he breaks the record, he definitely has to be up there. But just like you said, if it was just Dusty with 7 picks. But no, the highlights literally show us it's not him getting picks. He's him
everywhere.
Yeah.
He's relentless.
Everywhere on the field. And that's something that a lot of people, defense is not pretty. It's not sexy. But that's something that a lot of people, undervalue. And literally his highlights, that's all it shows. His hustle, his heart. And I mean, I can attest to it, but just the leadership that I've seen from him and the way he talks to his team, he has a talk. He gives every player on his team. You've attested to it as well, Angel, last season.
Yeah,
he talks to everybody.
I was definitely in a bad spot with the 49ers because I was just coming off. I was getting into rhythm. I had the brace. I was getting a lot of slack. It was my first season. Playing with Jordan, especially on your first season, it's tough. One, we had the 2 tier 5, mark on our back. So that was the first thing. And then the second thing was the fact that Jordan screams for everything, dog. I'm not used to people screaming at me, bro. I'm used to like telling people what to do.
You're used to doing the screaming.
So that guy was screaming at me in the Oregon Ducks, and I was like,
so like it was a coach. And Dusty saw me one game, bro, and he put his arm around my shoulder and told me, "Hey, bro, keep your head up, keep fighting, keep playing. We're winning ball games. That's all I need you to do.
Fire.
Next play."
That's fire.
That's the beauty about the offensive and defensive players, that we give some credit to other players that had it not been, if we talk about this, they're not going to win MVP. But I think it's indicative, the fact that I tell you, all right, who are the award winners? And you tell me you pick one, Lulu, Peaky, Eddie, and then your offense is Mark and your defense is Dusty. And you're like, yeah, that sounds about right. Those are the people who played the best this season. And that's sort of
so far. Yeah.
But guys, this is interactive and it's going to keep updating because it's only through 2 weeks. So with that, we're going to draw a close to this episode. We love all the insight that you guys give us all the feedback. If you guys have content, if you guys have any highlights, if you guys have anything from your games that you guys want us to put on here, let us know. If you guys want to share some of those if trades, I want to hear them. I don't know if Pedro or Mikey want to hear them, but I sure want to hear them.
I think Mikey's done with trades for now. I think
you're happy, right? You're happy,
no,
Mikey?
I'm not gonna say I'm happy, bro. Like I might just pop a champagne bottle, though.
Bro, all I know is that
Ernie might make a move now.
Halsey's gonna go ham on me on Monday when I go for rehab.
Ernie's the only one safe on the Dolphins right now, so he might hit you up to partner up and trade the rest of the team away.
That's crazy.
Yo, nah. Man, you know what? I need to talk to my team. Close this out. I need to go.
All right, guys.
Job,
as always, thank you for tuning in. We love you, and as always, see you next week.